What's up, guys? Welcome back to the review here on the channel Westham. Of course, runners on the channel there. We are doing a post-match reaction to the West Ham win, 2-1 in Turf Moor away to Burnley this evening on Monday Night Football. And by God, what a Monday it is, because West Ham come away 2-1 winners, as I said there, and a big 3 points to take home with 58 points from 34 Premier League games this season. Quickly, post-match thoughts really. I mean, it's been a while since the game's been over now, but I think off the back of it, I think we played well. First half, we were poor with the ball in possession, wasteful as usual in chances. Slow start to get things going as well, both sussing each other out. But it's a very good response, to be fair, in the end to hit back, and I'm really proud of the way we did. I suppose getting the second goal straight after the first, after equalising, was a really big one. We really tested that Burnley defence. A bit of luck on our side, but overall we really did well. And it's good to see the attacking threat from Moyes this evening as well. The way he went, as they were saying in the studio there, that he went with those attacking options. And even in midfield, we normally have Souček and Rice, which is a bit defensive, or Souček and Noble. This time we worked with Souček and Lanzini, who still brings us to the attacking outlet, and broke up the play really well this evening, which is really important. Overall, other than that, with Ben Rama, he brought a lot to the game. Antonio, he was given man of the match, but I spoke a few weeks ago as well, about his focal point he brings to the team. He scores goals, he brings players into the game, and I thought this evening, he was something that we needed. He's not in world class because he had a poor start to the game. He had a few missed chances to get the hat trick or 4 goals, and overall, Antonio went off and could have scored more. And his presence to the team, even if he doesn't score goals, was shown ever vital this evening. Other than that, really, I think Souček, give him a nut. We'll start with player ratings, really. Fabianski gets an 8 out of 10. I think Fabianski hasn't been, didn't get tested much this evening. I think the Burnley chances, the big one with Jay Rodriguez, really, I think, was a big one. And Fabianski saved it in the end, which is key, because a lot of people will give credit to the look there, but overall I think the credit has to go to Fabianski, because if he didn't get the touch on it, who knows what could have happened. Cresswell, I give him an 8 out of 10. I think Cresswell back in the side this evening. We've said about his defensive vulnerability sometimes, but as a left back this season, he was brilliant going forward, could have gotten assists, and defensively very, very solid. Diop beside him, I don't want to round it off in a negative performance this evening, but Diop, not really what I wanted to see from this evening. Very shaky first half. Grew into the game a bit more the second half. We were lucky we limited Burnley with their chances, but overall, we didn't concede from open play. Diop headed the ball, was needed to be where he needed to be every time in the second half, especially. And I give Diop a 5.5 out of 10 just because of his penalty mistakes and overall a dodgy performance from him. But still, let's not be too negative about him. I would give Koufal a 9 out of 10 and joint man of the match today alongside a man we'll get to very soon. I think Koufal was absolutely brilliant today. Got an assist. He kept, they were saying out of 15 assists in the first half, 9 of them in the game were, I think, at least from Koufal, which is insane. That's over half of the shot across into the box from Koufal. And most of them got to a man every time. So he could have got 2 or 3 assists in that game. That's him comes to 6 for the season now from the Czech Republic International. And I think that is an absolute brilliant representation from him. It feels like more because he's so good going forward for us. And defensively, he was inviting pressure on in the first half this evening, especially that first half. And he was well able to deal with it. Hardly any mistake in the whole game at all. And as Gallagher said in the studio, he gives 7 out of 10 or so every game. So that was important. Dawson, another joint man of the match this evening. 100% Dawson gets my joint man of the match with a 9 out of 10. Forgot to include him there, but I just think what we saw from Dawson this season was brilliant. He comes back into the lineup after probably last 4 or 5 games or so being shaky. He didn't have a Guana beside him, and without Dawson this evening, he probably could have conceded. He was commanding. He didn't worry every time the ball went into the box, etc. And absolutely brilliant for him. Souček in midfield, a bit quiet this evening from him, but he still had 4 shots, I think, in the game. He had a lot of chances to get a header, a touching at times. He, of course, gave away the penalty, which maybe docked him a few marks, but overall, it was a solid attacking and defensive display from the Czech Republic in this evening. Not his best game, but not his worst, and a solid performance considering he's Rice is out and Noble is out. So 8 out of 10 for Souček. Beside him, maybe it could be higher. People will say it could be man of the match, but Lanzini will get an 8.5 out of 10 this evening. Probably could have been higher, as I said, but he controlled the play well, dropped into midfield. He, as I said, still gave an attacking outlet, and it was really important to see him this evening. to show what he could offer to the team, because he's a man that's, has been in and out of the team recently, first start in a few weeks. And for a fella that could be leaving at the end of the season, it's nice to cap off in the end of his West Ham journey, trying to get us into Europe. And he came in and broke up the play well, and as I said, gave him a good attacking outlet. Onto the front four now. Well, front three is Fornals, 7.5. Look, what can I say? Fornals this evening, absolutely brilliant. Him and Lanzini. We always look at what attackers can bring to the attack, and that's important as well. Which again, like Lanzini, he did offer this evening, but defensively broke up the play really well. For the first goal, won the tackle, won the ball back off of the cross for Antonio's goal from Kufal's cross, and overall it was a brilliant finish, weren't it? So yeah, I got to give it to Fornals, really good performance. Lingard, quiet game for him, one of his worst, but even then he had a few shots and a few chances created, so it wasn't actually a bad game for him. I'll give him a 7. Maybe a bit harsh, but that's all. He could have got a goal in the end there. He had a straight to goalkeeper and he poked towards the end, and overall it was not the worst performance, not the best, but he deserves some sort of performance praise today. Benrahma, this is where we go next. 7.5 out of 10 we're going to give him there, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. I thought this was one of his best performances in the shirt for us, especially first half. We went off and we created, he was the outlet to us this evening. We gave him the ball. He's a very individual team player, and the one time we probably should have kept going, he passed it, and a bit selfish. He wants us to score that first goal for the club. It's really hard sometimes to see him doing that with what we saw from him this evening. But overall, it was a very good performance from Benrahma. Kind of slowed down after half time. Ironically, after ended breaking his fasting. But overall, really good performance after not eating and drinking before his breakfast this morning. And if he can keep going like that, then who knows what can happen. Next up, Antonio, and he gets an 8 out of 10. Antonio with 2 goals this evening. For a fella that hasn't played in 3-4 games or so, comes on, scores 2 goals, should have got a hat-trick or 4, so, and he got Sky Sports Man of the match. He brings more to our goals. If he didn't even score this season, okay, then it might be in backlash from fans, but overall, Antonio brought a lot for us this evening, to be fair. And that's really important indeed. And then that is overall the things really. We'll talk quickly about 3 talking points really this evening, and the first one is going to be Benrahma masterclass. Now we speak more throughout the podcast throughout the week. We'll be on with Tom as well throughout the week. But Benrahma's masterclass, a big one. What did you think? Let me know down below this evening about Benrahma. Did you expect to see him do this well this evening? We haven't seen him start/play much really in a while, and I feel a bit sorry for him, especially against Chelsea at the end and Newcastle at the end. Got 10-15 minutes max, not enough to do it, and he's been thrown straight into the deep end. And he starts again this evening, and he doesn't deliver. We win. So yeah, it's a really important statement for him this evening, to be fair. And we move. We see what happens in the future with him. I think he adds, of course, defensively. I knew Moyes would take him off that time for Bowen. Bowen again didn't really get the best chance to create much, but he won he won the free kick in the end for us, and really important. Would we even won the game without Benrahma this evening? That's not really selfish, just a bit more determined at times to score. A bit wasteful, I suppose, at times. But overall, he did really well. And as I said, maybe would we won without the game, well, in the team tonight. Let me know down below in the comments. Quickly move on to the next one as well here. Next talking point is need to just quickly get this up now, and it is the big one, but not a big talking point really here. If you can just get it up quickly. It's Dawson. He's returned to form from the suspension against Newcastle 2 weeks ago, and by God, Dawson absolutely deserved a huge amount of praise this evening. We thought we were finished. Some fans backed him to come back into the side this evening. Again, another man. Would we have won this game tonight? Would we have conceded more? But still won if we had Dawson not playing. I think it was a big decision to throw him back in after getting a red card, losing his trust the last few weeks, especially capping off against Newcastle. Scored 2 own goals in the last few games as well. Not a great few weeks for Dawson. He comes into this evening and he's absolutely rocked it. Fair play to him. Brilliant performance. And as I said, you didn't really worry with him this evening. A solid 8 and potentially man of the match for me. 8 out of 10. Yeah, but overall, I think not the worst conditions on the pitch tonight, but overall, I think Dawson back to his form when we first got him, which is really important. He was a leader tonight for us.
I think in like 2 weeks' time, like bars and clubs and stuff will be able to open indoors.
And then the next one of the last three talking points this evening, before we end this, the last part of this is, the second last part, Lanzini's key role and potential man of the match performance, who am I giving the man of the match to? In terms of Lanzini's roles this evening, as I said, we won't speak too much more. I'll repeat myself only, but Lanzini's defensive display tonight, breaking up the play in midfield, partners Souček, driving, going forward. You didn't notice him, and sometimes you ask, do noticing someone and ask, is it a good or a bad thing? But by God, it was a good thing to see him because Lanzini, he just broke up everything. We didn't notice him because Burnley didn't really get a chance because we won the midfield battle. And that was a battle I was worried we get overrun this evening with Burnley's 2 and 3 in there. They're a long ball, through ball in behind. By God, we matched that this evening. We didn't let them play their proper football, the Burnley style football that we know them from. So really important to win. And Lanzini was one really key. How key was he this evening? Let me know down below what you think. And the final talking point, really, we'll go again into more depth in these as we head down to the podcast Thursday. But if we can just quickly hide this the other way.
When I come back up to Newcastle next year,
quick look. So going forward to the final 4 fixtures of the season, but especially going forward to the Everton home game on Sunday evening, that's a big one, isn't it? I mean, what do we do? As I said, we'll speak more on Thursday at the podcast with Tom, but do we switch to the back 5 again? Especially with Masuaku potentially back, Ogbonna possibly back, or do we switch to the back 4? Start Ben Rama, bench Bowen. We know Everton will be very similar to Burnley, just a bit more extra edge in their attack, and will be more clinical, I'd imagine. And Everton have a very good away record. If we beat Everton, we're still in the Champions League hunt and we're guaranteed Europe, I see it as. If we draw against them, it should do us for Europe, but probably Champions League is in trouble. We lose, it's dodgy. It's back again being dodgy. Champions League, I reckon, will be gone. Europa League would still be with a shout, but it would be a bad defeat to take, especially at home with a record. But let me know down below what you think about that game. It's going to be huge. I didn't think we'd win today. I thought we'd draw best, but we'd win. And this West Ham team proved me wrong once again. But that is going to be the post-match reaction. Let me know down below as well what you think of it in the comments. And we'll be back on Thursday for probably... We'll probably be back Thursday for our preview to the Everton game on for Sunday, and this post-match reaction for this as well. So talk to you then, and one thing I have to say, guys, come on, you Irons.
Yeah, I mean, if I just